Hemp Wizard products are proudly used by former New England Patriots linebacker Brandon Spikes, Suicide Silence guitarist Mark Haleman, Canadian actor Jackson Rowe, Mr. Grimm and Noctis the drummers of Walking Corpse Syndrome, guitarist and vocalist Bub Heaston and bassist Ted Wilson of Black Sasquatch, guitarist and vocalist Adam Hines of Fester, Aaron Witzel, guitarist of Cropsy Maniac, Roy Boy, host of the Licking County Metalheads podcast, Crash Fistfight and Maxine Maxwell, host of the Musicians Hangout podcast, Jeff Towlinski, host of the Hard Rockin' Sports Show. You too can give your beard the magic touch and treat your skin to the finest. Visit hempwizard.net today and use code 20OFF to save 20% off of your entire order.
Well, that is my cue to start the show. Welcome to another edition of a Hard Rockin' Sports Show, live from high atop Hard Rockin' Sports Studios in beautiful scenic Monroe, New Jersey. We are your 3-hour get-together where we bring you all the biggest news from around the worlds of hard rock, heavy metal, and, of course, the wide world of sports. And, guys, welcome to Thursday, November the 3rd in the year of our Lord 2022, and I hope you guys have had a great year. Lots to talk about tonight. Don't know how much time we're going to have. I got some computer problems. We do have a couple of guests coming up. Hopefully, we'll make it. My dad's hanging, but I'm solo tonight. Jeff's off, celebrating his 15th anniversary with him and his beautiful wife, two of my favorite people in the whole world who I'll get to see this weekend. Saturday night, we're going to go out for dinner. So anyway, congratulations to Jeff and Sharon on their 15th anniversary, and Jeff will be back next Thursday when we do this again. So again, folks, there's a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about Kyrie Irving. The Nets are a disgrace. The NBA's a disgrace. We'll get some baseball in. Jets, Giants, whatever we can get to. We got, again, Jeff Westlake and Charlie Bonnet III, CB3, coming on to talk about their new project, which is for the a little tribute to the gods. So hopefully we'll be able to stay on the air for that. But in the meantime, I got some stuff to say. Maybe sit back, relax, and enjoy. It's Jeff. We'll get plenty to talk about. I want to, first off, just a reminder, folks, if you like the way you're living, if you like spending the money you're spending on groceries and gas and just the crime, and if you love all of that, do me a favor next Tuesday night, vote Democrat. Vote for these guys who for the last 2 years have completely turned this country upside down. And if you think it's just another, it would happen for Republicans, you know what? You might be right. It might be right. But I'll say this. It didn't happen for 4 years. There's the policy set by this administration, these Democratic cities, that why isn't Florida in turmoil? Right? Why isn't Texas in turmoil other than the border? Because they have law and order. If you guys ain't paying attention to it, if you ain't noticing that there's 8% inflation, gas is back up again. Wait till it's after the midterm elections. Guys, next Tuesday night, please, red wave. Let's send a message, and hopefully the Democrats will get the hint. No more woke. We can go with the green climate, but let's do it slow. Okay? Please. Next Tuesday night, vote Republican. What's up, Mike Weissman? Jeff's here. Mike's here. Played the new commercial from our friends at Hemp Wizard. And guys, remember, excuse me, Jeff's not here, so I'm going to do it. Holidays are around the corner. I'm listening to Christmas music every day on the way home from work. It's that time of year when we start to think about buying nice gifts for our friends and relatives. Well, if you've got a friend or relatives, and I've got a little beard work, and I don't know if you guys can see it tonight, but I might be a candidate for probably the best beard care product on the market, and that's sold by our buddies Joe Casano and Mike Weissman at Hemp Wizard Beard Care Company. So do yourselves a favor. If you've got friends, relatives, or even just a neighbor who you want to bless, if they got a beard or they're working on one, reach out to the boys at Hemp Wizard Beard Care Company and get their products. Jeff, if he was here, would be the first one to tell you. Blue. The Giants must be. And again, listen, for the ladies, there's the hand cream and skin lotions. You know, it's a one-stop shop for your Christmas and holiday needs. You got your Hanukkah people. whatever. You got Ramadan, all of them. If you're buying gifts for your friends and family, and stocking stuffers all the way up to regular gifts, do yourselves a favor and find our friends at Hemp Wizard Beer Care Company. Two of the best guys and the best product. If you get to see Jeff, you know it. Jeff, I'm not voting blue. It's red wave, baby, red wave. Red wave. Anyway, speaking of blue and red and green, lots to talk about during the holiday season. We're planning some real cool stuff here at the Hard Rock and Sports Show. So stay tuned for that. We're going to probably have a nice Christmas show this year. Try to get some guests on, have some live acts and all that. So stay tuned for that. But we got a lot to talk about, and I'm going to do a minute or two before I get my dad on about Kyrie Irving. And folks, if you're still watching the NBA, then you're as complicit as them. During the whole Black Lives Matter, their police unrest, you got people like LeBron James and Greg Popovich, that asshole, Steve Kerr, another asshole. They have no problem, beating up on Republicans and Trump and the police. Yet, I don't hear them talking about China. The NBA is in bed with China. And the totalitarian regime that just rules over their people and is our biggest threat. And yet I never hear anything from them. And now with the whole Kyrie Irving thing and, his blatant anti-Semitic viewpoint, to post that video, boy, I got to tell you, for the fact that the NBA has not stepped in, the Nets have not stepped in, he's not been fined, he's not been suspended. I don't even know if he's been given a stern talking to at this point. Thanks, Jeff. Enjoy your dinner with your wife. Hey, Black Sasquatch, what's up, Ted and Bub and old boys? I have to tell you, it's very disappointing that he not only has not been, he played last night's game. I mean, come on, folks. Let's be fair. Both sides of the table. If you're outraged, and I'm looking at, all I see is inspire change and be the difference, and yet nobody on the NBA circle has stepped up. The only ones I heard badmouthing him were Barkley and Shaq, who called him an idiot, and he is an idiot. So I have to tell you, it's very disappointing from the NBA and the Nets, and now the Nets they're looking to hire the suspended Boston Celtics coach, Udoka. The guy was harassing women, has an inappropriate relationship. He's suspended by the Boston Celtics after taking him to the NBA Finals as a rookie. The guy's a shining light as far as coaching goes, and they suspend him for a year, probably looking to run from him. And then that swoop in, they're going to hire the guy. Are they kidding? This is the worst franchise. They can't lose enough games. If they weren't totally unlikable before, they have just jumped the fence. So I can only hope they lose every single game. I completely dislike everybody there. Irving, Durant, Joe Tsai, the owner, Sean Marks, they all deserve each other, and I can only hope and pray that they fall on their face again this year. And here's the bad part. Come January, if this team finally rights the ship, it's going to be hard for me to watch the fans go to those games and cheer for this team. So listen, whatever happens. I'm not a big fan of basketball to begin with, and I'm certainly not a fan of the Brooklyn Nets. But if he isn't suspended, and I'm not talking a game, I'm talking a suspended. If he's not suspended, there's a big problem. But the problem is nobody is going to do anything about it because they're just going to let it go. The media is not behind it, other than some people in New York on the radio who have been blasting the team. At the end of the day, he will get away with it. All right, folks, that's my rant on that. We're going to get to some Yankees. We're going to get to some Giants and Jets. We got a lot of we had the NFL trade deadline passed this week. Lots to talk about. Even though I got my partner in crime's not here tonight, I'll muddle through as long as I can. Remember, Jeff Westlake, Charlie Bonnet the third, popping up after 7:30. Stick around, hang around. Coming up right next is my pops. Let's get him on, see what he has to say. What's up, Pop?
Hey, Tom, what's up, buddy?
Not much, Dad. Just getting settled in for a show.
I heard you about Irving, and you have the power just like everybody else.
Yeah.
Disconnect yourself from the Nets. Don't watch any game. Don't buy anything Nets. Don't go to the stadium. That's the only thing they understand is money. They have no ethics. There's any sport. I don't care what it, any business, any political. They don't understand it unless you hit them in the pocket. And
well, that's just it. That's just it. Yeah.
And don't. The guy's an idiot. He's now what I heard on TV today. He's got a meeting with the commissioner of basketball next week.
Right.
And naturally, if you looked at the game the other night, he had about 4 or 5 kids sitting on the bench with yarmulkes on.
Yeah. Figure it out, Pop. I can't do it.
No. But what it is if I'm a fan of his or anything, I'm kind of insulted that you think I was that stupid.
Yeah, of course you are.
Give you because you got 4 or 5 kids, white kids behind you with yarmulkes. I thought it was.
Again, you're allowed to. You're not allowed to hate people racially unless it's a certain group. If it's anybody you agree with, then you can do it. So racial harmony only matters if it matters to them.
It's money, Tony.
Yeah, listen, I get it, I understand it, but it infuriates me. When I got to watch the NFL every week with the inspire change and because I know it's all bullshit. It's just complete.
It's all money.
So I don't know. Have you been watching the World Series?
Yeah, I watched it the other night, and I love the picture for Houston because he did the same thing to the Yankees. He held them hitless for like 6, 7 innings.
Yeah,
and I think he's excellent. I think Houston's got a good team. I think Philly tonight's a must-win for Philly.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, to be honest with you, I think it's a must-win for both teams, but a bigger must-win for Philly. You're right, because I wouldn't expect Philly to go to Houston and win 2 games.
And then I'm watching. I'm trying to figure out. I don't know what kind of money they're going to offer him, but I'm sorry, nobody's worth that kind of money that he's looking to get. 400 million, 400. I don't know. Whatever he's getting ain't worth it.
Yeah, again,
he goes.
Yeah, I think at this point, here's the way I look at it, Pop, and I think he's a great player, and he's a guy you want on your team, and he's a guy you want to be the face of your franchise. But he's been on the team for 5 years, and we haven't sniffed the World Series yet. So, to me, I got it. Go take that money and go spend it somewhere else. I want to see him stay, of course, but it's not going to kill me if he leaves. Because 99% of the guys who take these big contracts and go someplace else never live up to those contracts anyway.
No, I agree. So, and then, it just makes no sense with that he's going to, I don't know, they're going to offer him that kind of money. They'd be foolish. I mean, guys turning 30 this next year.
I think if you're the Yankees, you offer him what you can give him. I think, to me, it's an 8-year deal, probably in the area of $40 million a year, and you say this is the best we're going to do. And if you want to get more and go live in anonymity and he's never going to be the big star he is now if he goes to San Francisco. First off, it's completely a pitcher's ballpark. He's not hitting 60 home runs in San Francisco. So it is what it is.
I think it's a matter of consistency.
Sure.
And he's shown he's not a consistent. Listen, that's the difference between a good ball player and a great ball player.
Sure.
Good ball player has a couple of years, he does really good. A great ball player is a consistent ball player.
Yeah.
And he's not. He went back to his old ways in the playoffs, swinging from the hip, looking for pitches down. You knew you'd strike him out, just throw it down and out, down and out.
Yeah.
And
no, I get it. Listen, again, I'd like to see him back, but it's not going to break my heart if he signs in San Francisco.
And Donaldson's got to go too.
Well, the problem with Donaldson is you'd have to eat that big contract.
Well, then eat the contract. I'm with
you, but
they keep telling me how great of a third baseman he is, and
Yep.
I've seen him make multiple mistakes. He looks like the ball's hit to him. Then he's got to think of where he should go with the ball. Should I
Yeah.
go for a double play? Should I throw to first? What should I do? I mean, and as far as hitting wise, he's terrible.
Yes, I get you.
If you throw it in his
Well,
eyeballs, he's for it.
I agree with you. He's not worth the hassle, but you're stuck with him probably another year. Unless they're going to eat to his 20-something or $30 million contract. I
I
think
would
he's
get
going to be
rid of
back.
him and put what do you call the first baseman
Rizzo.
Put him over. No, DJ.
LeMahieu's going to
DJ.
get that spot. Yeah.
Put him on third,
Mhm.
and then put what's his name back on first base.
Rizzo.
And they got to get rid of the second baseman.
Oh, that may be a little tougher move. I think that's less of a tougher move. I think there's people who would take him, thinking that they could turn him around. I think you've seen the best of Gleyber Torres. I don't think he's going to be anything more than an inconsistent, average ball player.
And that's all he is.
Yes, I get it. I'm with you.
The worst thing that happened to him when he came here and hit 38 home runs, 39 home runs. That was the worst thing that happened to him.
I couldn't agree with you more.
That left field wall has ruined many of ball players.
Yeah, and he's one.
Because they come in, I agree. I don't know what you do with him.
I'm with you. So we'll see. It's going to be an interesting off season. They're a couple of weeks away from the start of free agency and all that. I think it's going to go quick. I think whatever offers he's going to get, it's going to happen. And I think certainly by the end of the year or early into January, we'll know where Judge is going to be. And
I'd be very shocked. I'd be very shocked if he left because he's going to be one of the, especially in New York, one of the most hated guys that left the Yankees.
I think a big thing is he seemed to have gotten insulted that he got booed.
Gee, I feel bad for him.
Listen, here's how you don't get booed. Get hit.
Well,
don't go 0 for 7 and 7 strikeouts.
I wasn't there. The only one that I can honestly say I don't think ever got booed was Lou Gehrig. They booed Babe Ruth. They definitely booed Mickey Mantle.
Yeah.
They booed Roger Maris. They booed their grandmother.
To me, that's part of being in. That's the glory of New York. Play well. They're going to chant your name forever. You won't buy a dinner ever if you play badly. I don't care if you hit 62 home runs during the regular season. If you ain't in a playoff series, I think at a minimum he needed to get to a World Series this year. Win or lose, you needed to get there. The fact that they didn't even get out of the second round was.
But he went. It's like I don't know why he went back to his old way. He was doing so good. He was walking. He was getting. They had to pitch him
100%.
They wouldn't give him anything to hit, and he wanted to be a big shot in the World Series in the American League Championship.
Well,
something I can figure.
I can't figure it out. So we'll see what happens next year, Pop. That's all we can do.
All right. Anything else you got?
No, that's it, Pop. Like I said, I got a guest coming on in a few. I'll do a couple minutes, do a little with him. And then I don't know. I'm probably gonna call it. I've had some computer problems tonight, so I'm hoping it stays together long enough.
Okay. All right. Listen, I'll let you go.
I'll see you over the weekend.
Have yourself a good weekend. We'll tell Jeff we congratulate him on his anniversary.
I will definitely do that.
I'll probably talk to you one day over the weekend.
I'll see you over the weekend. I'll definitely be nice to you guys.
Talk to you later, buddy.
You got it. That's my Pops. He checks in every week. I love having him on. It's part of the reason why I do the show is because of my Pops. So good for him. Again, guys, don't forget the holidays are here. Remember our good buddies at Hemp Wizard. It's hempwizard.net, according to my man Black from Black Sasquatch. And tried the Black Sasquatch signature scent. Listen, those guys smell good. If you listen, you're talking about the Squatch, baby. Those guys smell good. So if the Squatch is using Hemp Wizard, sure shit, you guys should be doing it. That's right. So Tom Flory here. I'm all solo tonight. Jeff Towinski's out. Away celebrating him was his 15th wedding anniversary with his lovely wife. So I am solo for whatever time we do the show tonight. Again, I'm having some computer issues. I don't know if it's computer or my router in the house, but I'm having all sorts of problems today. But anyway, we'll hang in there as long as we possibly can. Thanks for stopping by. Hey, the NFL trade deadline went past this week, and no huge moves for either New York team. We'll get to some of the moves around the league, but for the Giants, I kind of get it. If you're Joe Shane, and I'm on a lot of the Giant social media sites, and some people understood, some people were just, the Giants aren't winning. The Giants are not winning the Super Bowl this year, folks. I'm loving the way the team's playing, but this team's not winning the Super Bowl. So to me, I'm not mortgaging the future for a Chase Claypool or a secondary receiver. Yes, that is absolutely correct. We all love the Squatch. So I agree with Joe Shea. Now, you could have made a move that doesn't cost you much. You pick up a contract that's not going to kill you. Listen, if you watch a Giant game, there's a serious upgrade need at the wide receiver position. They just don't have a guy who is going to beat anybody off the ball or, have a tons of yards after catch. But to give up a high pick, a 2 or a 3 or even a 1 or multiple picks doesn't make any sense. Unless a guy can't, if you could have got a Calvin Ridley, if you could have got somebody like that on the cheap, I'm all for it. But you got to remember, they have cap issues. To me, what Joe Shane did and Brian Dable did was perfect. You know what, guys? Play it out. We've already exceeded all expectations. So do the right thing. Play out the season. This season can go back. After the bye week this week, could go completely upside down. A 6-2 in the first half could be 2-6. It would be 2-7 in the second half. Who cares? This is not about this year. It's about the culture. It's about installing the plays. To me, the biggest thing for the Giants is to establish who's sticking around. We already know who's not. Kadarius Toney's gone. Galladay's going to be gone. Guys like that are going to go. The Nick Gateses of the world are going to be back and playing on this team. The big question again, Barkley and Jones. If I'm the Giants, Joe Shane came out this week and said, we want to sign Barkley. We do it right now. Daniel Jones has 9 games. It's an audition. And I understand it. The kid's playing really good football. It's hard to tell. Is he not coming through? Is it the receivers? I watch the games. It's the receivers. But he still only got 6 touchdown passes. He's come up big in the big spots. He's not turning the ball over. I think he'll be back. Think about it. Unless there is a big free agent available, unless there's a trade that can be made for, I don't know. Are you in love with Jimmy Garoppolo? I'm not. I mean, anybody worth their salt is not going to get traded. Do I want Aaron Rodgers at 39 or Tom Brady at 40-something? Great players, but no, this team needs to go for the future. To me, Daniel Jones, and then you got to worry about who you drafted. Is Bryce Young the answer? Is the kid out of Ohio State the answer? I don't know. It's still a gamble, and it could be 3-4 years away. So I think the Giants are ultimately going to stick with Daniel Jones, and they're going to re-sign Barkley, and they'll build this team around them for the future. So we'll see. Turn it up to the Jets. A really bad loss for the Giants. Loss, while not fun, was not unexpected. They're already 6-2. They're flying across country. They're playing a pretty decent team in a very tough building. It's almost like we're playing with house money. The Jets, on the other hand, people are starting to talk glowingly, playoffs, future. The defense has played exceptional. So the question becomes, if you're the Jets, the quarterback. Bryce Hall goes down. You had a great running game. He had a great chance to be offensive rookie of the year. But he'll be back next year and should, maybe he'll be as good or not quite as good. Who knows? But the Jets have weapons and they have a great defense. And the problem right now for them is quarterback. Not only is the kid bad, but he doesn't understand why he's bad. He says the right things, but he is a long way from being a good NFL quarterback. And you saw that the Jets aren't sure. They elevated Mike White to number 2. Joe Flacco got dropped down to number 3. And you say, well, what's the big deal? It's a big deal because they don't want to play Flacco. So right now, if this kid continues to fail, now, what's his name? Robert Salah has come out and said, hey, unless there's an injury, Zach Wilson's our quarterback for the year. And I agree with that. Go out there and just let him play and figure it out if he's got it. I still think teams are too quick to dump their players. Look at Daniel Jones. It's year 4, and it looks like he's finally getting it. But the problem has been coaching? All of a sudden he's got a good coach. Kafka's calling good plays, and all of a sudden Daniel Jones looks like the real deal. Last year, so I think it's hard for people to be patient nowadays. Everybody wants instant gratification. There is no let's build a future. I have not been big and high on Zach Wilson, to be honest with you. He's not the kind of guy I have not been a big fan of his game. But if you're the Jets, you got to give him every opportunity. And sitting him on the bench, no matter how bad he gets this year, is a bad move. Get him out there. Maybe by week 14, he's getting it. And it just makes it better. So unless he gets hurt, and again, there's no reason why if he gets throws 3 interceptions in the first half of the game, you can't yank him for the second half and let him sit on the bench and learn from there. But I think the kid's got to play. This Jet defense is really good. They got some talent. They got to fix their receiver problems. I mean, you got your 2 young receivers, not counting Garrett Wilson, but Mims and what's his name, Elijah Moore. Neither one of them want to be here. They're disgruntled. That really should be a decent receiving core to go along with Garrett Wilson, this year's number 1. But they still have a lot of work to do, the Jets. But again, their loss this week was worse. They were winning. They had all the momentum that way, and they lost because their quarterback just threw bad passes, and they never could recover from it. So, it's going to be an interesting week for the Jets. They got Buffalo coming. I think Buffalo's coming in before their bye week, and this will tell you a lot. If a lot of people have the Jets, hanging in there, playoffs in a much tougher AFC than the NFC. I'm not buying it, but this is a big week. If they can hang in there close, I expect them to lose. But if they can keep it 10 points or less, I think that's the moral victory the Jets should be looking for this week. So, but if you go out there and you get blown out and you can't score points, it's telling you you're a lot further away than you thought. So watch the Jet game this week. You'll get a good idea of the AFC East, which has been a little up and down. I mean, Miami's been better with Tua back there now. I think New England has settled in with Mac Jones as their quarterback. I don't think Mac Jones is great. I think it's touch and go. I get another guy who needs I think he can use some more help. Stevenson's a phenomenal back, but I still think he can use some help at receiver. But Buffalo is the cream of that division, and should be no reason why they don't win that division and the conference and probably the Super Bowl this year. If not this year, I don't know when. Let's run down the NFL a little bit while we're waiting for my guest to show up. And like I said, hopefully we can manage to keep ourselves on the air. Well, I don't know how long, but we'll find out. So right now, Tennessee is the best of a bad division in the AFC South. Baltimore 5-3 over a very, very, very skittish AFC North. I mean, Pittsburgh's bad, folks. Johnny Majewka, my partner, my friend, and my partner from the Sunday Audible show, and all you Pittsburgh fans, they're a bad team. This is going to be that year where Mike Tomlin gets his first losing record. But Cincinnati, I mean, how do you lose to Cleveland? I mean, I know Jamar Chase is out, but come on, boys. That's another up and down team. Maybe last year was a fluke. We'll find out because it looks like it so far. The Chargers on a very disappointing second in the AFC West. Denver, they're already regretting the Russell Wilson trade. I would think they do. And Vegas, it's time to part ways with Derek Carr. I have to tell you, he's the most disappointing quarterback. Maybe this is the most disappointing player in the league. That's a guy who has a lot of ability, who's shown sparks, who's shown the ability, and then it just seems like, he can never put it together. So you got a Vegas team that's 2-5. Denver 3-5, the Chargers at 4-3, and then Kansas City still probably the second best team in the conference, with some question marks. So we'll see how that plays out. The AFC Beast, or the East as they called, Philly 7-0, Dallas 6-2, Giants 6-2, Washington 4-4. Dallas, good defense. I still think their offense is hurting. I don't think it's a great offense, but they can win some games with that defense. Philly, maybe a very complete team. I mean, we might be looking at a very good Super Bowl with Philly and Buffalo. But again, I'm still not sold on Jalen Hurts. I got to see more before I'm buying into it. But the A.J. Brown move, you can't say enough, guys. I mean, just that's a really good team playing really good football right now. So if you're an Eagle fan, go after yourself. But still, your team's playing well. I don't know what to talk about the AFC South. I mean, Tampa is just a disaster. Brady just looks like he should never have come back. I don't think he's playing terrible. Don't get me wrong, folks. But I don't think there's any fire on that side. And I just can't imagine that Tom Brady wants to go out like that. I just think he wants to get to the end of the season and just move on to Fox next year. And it's a shame. It's not tarnishing his legacy. He's still the GOAT. Maybe he shouldn't have come back is all I'm saying. Just because if it was going to cause this much grief in his household and it cause him to be distracted the way it looks like he is, it can't be worth it. Tampa, they're New Orleans, and a surprising Atlanta team at 4-4. One team out of that division, and they'll be gone very quick. And a surprising Minnesota team over a very disappointing division. We'll see. It's Kirk Cousins. Never wins a big game. That's all I'm going to tell you. Never wins a big game. And in the West, Seattle's seems to be the best team, although I think Frisco's made some strides with the trade for Christian McCaffrey. We'll certainly see how that plays out for the rest of the year. But game one, he caught a touchdown, he ran for a touchdown, and he threw a touchdown. If he can step up, that'll help that team tremendously. The Rams are done. Keep signing those guys for big numbers. That they'll be turning that roster over in about 2 years. So, but an interesting NFL season. Again, the NFL's got what they want. Parity. Nobody's great. I mean, even Buffalo is a good team. I think honestly, truly, if you ask me right now who the best team in football is, I might make the argument that it's the Philadelphia Eagles, folks. I really do. They're just more of a complete team. I think they're they're just in that mode. I think getting Robert Quinn was a huge move. But Buffalo, no slouch, and I think it's probably going to wind up those two teams in the Super Bowl. So we'll see. We talk about it here every week on the show. So hopefully you guys come on back each Thursday night when Jeff and I get together and do this each week. So as I'm waiting for my guests, Mr. Jeff Westlake, Charlie Bonnet III, Hard Rock and Sports is here on a Thursday night. I'm so happy to have you guys. Maybe I'll talk a little bit about my dad was talking about. Let's do a little bit of trade deadline stuff. Let's see if I got anything good on the trade deadline. Well, I think there was a record 10 trades. Let's do the roundup real quick. I see Westlake popped up. And you know what? Let me get right to it because I'm so afraid that this computer is not going to hang in there tonight for us. So I want to get Jeff on for sure. Let me play a little. If anybody doesn't know who Jeff Westlake is, you are living under a rock or you're not smart enough to find out. This is one of the best musicians I've ever listened to, from his work at Hydrogen and his solo stuff. And I'll tell you what, folks, some of the best stuff I've ever heard from Jeff is the stuff he sends me on my Facebook, on my Messenger, of him doing Kiss songs. I have to tell you, and behind the mic, just as talented. And we're going to get to find out a little bit about his current project with Charlie Bonnet. But if you guys haven't figured out who Jeff Westlake is, and I'm not saying it because he's here, I say it all the time. Jeff knows how I feel. I think the guy's one of the most talented musicians I've ever had the pleasure of listening to, and to say, he's a buddy of mine from the show. I'm proud to say it, but I want to play a little something from his latest project, which is a tribute to the gods. You guys all know who the gods are. If you listen to the show, we had Eric Moore on countless times. I'm going to play a little bit of something from there, and then we'll get Jeff on, and then hopefully Charlie will pop up, and hopefully we'll make it through the interview before my computer craps out. So hang on a second, folks. I think we go this way. I'm going to cut that off because I want to get my guest on before, God forbid, something happens. So let's get my buddy and, again, one of the most talented people I've gotten to know in this industry and listen to. He's, of course, Mr. Jeff Westlake, and he'll tell us a little bit about this latest project. Jeff, how are you, brother?
Hey, Tommy, how are you, man?
Terrific, my brother. All terrific. Glad you were here tonight. And I do appreciate you guys coming on the show tonight. We'll wait for Charlie to pop up, but thanks for doing this, Jeff. It's much appreciated.
Tommy, thanks for having me on. It's always a pleasure to spend time with you guys.
I appreciate it. Jeff sends his regards. He's out celebrating his 15th anniversary with his wife. So nice. It's you and me. And before we get to the project, I got to ask, I know you're a big Buffalo Bills fan. Is this is this another one of those years where we get to, salivate? I picked them to win again this year. There's my start from the year. Come on, you're a Bills fan. Are we buying in?
Look, I'm I've never been a shit talker. I've been to the pinnacle 4 times in a row and lost 4 times in a row. But I have to say that this is probably the best Buffalo Bills team I've witnessed. I've been a fan of the team since 1979. My brother-in-law played a decade for him, and that's how I got brought into the world of the Buffalo Bills. But this is by far, hands down, the best football team I've ever seen in Orchard Park.
I would totally agree, and I think, and while I was never the biggest fan of Jim Kelly, I thought Kelly was a good quarterback. This kid potentially has a chance to be an all-time great.
I agree. What he's done since he's entered the NFL, from being basically just a gunslinger to a precision gunslinger. I don't know that I've ever seen anybody that's made that kind of a leap in this short a period of time before.
I would agree with you 100%. But listen, I'm afraid of my computer tonight. I'm having all sorts of glitches tonight, so I want to get to the project. Tell me about what this is, why you decided to do it, and how you did it. And tell me, who are you playing everything on this? Who's involved? Give me the whole detail.
Let's start off with who's involved. On a few of the tracks, we have a guy from Cleveland, Ohio by the name of John Cardellino on drums. The remainder of the album, we have a guy who used to play drums in the Verve Pipe. And also I just finished mixing and mastering a new album for his new band called Ghosts of Sunset by the name of Todd Long on drums. Ryan Stepp, who's been a longtime friend of mine, and the other guitar player in Hydrogen, I brought him on board to fill the bass duties for this. And then CB3, as we call him, or Charlie Bonnet III, vocals, guitar, and then there's myself.
I could clearly hear you out there, so that's the beauty of it. But tell us, how did you get, why the gods, why this time? I know Eric passed away not too long ago, but why was it time now to do this project?
Well, so Eric and I have known each other since like 2012, 2013. I met up with him and manager John Gard at Pizza Hut in Waverly, Ohio, just to talk business. They wanted to talk about some various things. I'd done a cover on a tribute album for Eric for "Gotta Keep It Running," which is their biggest song, and I did the cover of it. And so Eric wanted to meet me because I guess he liked the version, and so we got there and we talked about a bunch of business, and then he found out that I produced and engineered too. Oh, yeah. So then I got brought into the fold to remix and remaster their classic albums, and he wanted to put them back out, and so that's what I did for him and John. And you know, just one thing led to another. We stayed in constant touch, and we wrote from the time I met him till the time he died. Wow. We were writing stuff, and Eric had told me that he wanted me to continue the band in his name. Wow. And so, because we'd formed a really super tight relationship, and so I said, yeah, you know, I'll definitely do that, you know, and then he made John promise the same thing, that John would stay on and manage and do all that stuff, and so John agreed to it too, and we were working on a bunch of stuff, and then Eric passed in 2019, right? So it took a couple of years to kind of let that sting go away and kind of walk away from it a little bit. And then Guard got a hold of me one day earlier this year, and he said, "It's time." That's all he said. "It's time." I said, "Okay."
So is this leading to more than just an album? So is you're taking the God's mantle and running with it at this point?
I've been, I promised Eric Moore that I would do exactly that. Wow. And so the first order of business was to get Charlie Bonnet involved.
Okay.
And
now what's Charlie's tie to the Gods?
Charlie's tie to the Gods is the fact that he was always a big fan.
Okay.
And he was on the tribute album, one of the tribute albums, maybe more than one. I can't remember. But you know, he fits the mold. He is that kind of guy.
Right.
And so just a great person, really easy to work with in the studio. And, you know, just a good person. That's his tie. And he was friends with John Guard. And he's married to a girl who's been a lifetime Gods fan. She's been a Gods fan since she was born. And so, you know, that's just how it all came together. And I'd already been working on a ton of stuff with Eric on this album.
Wow.
It's getting ready to come out. There's a song called "Too Hot to Stop." That is the last song Eric Moore ever played bass.
Wow, really? So is okay. And by the way, hi Carrie Boyson again. This Tom Florio, the Hard Rock and Sports Show, here with Jeff Westlake, and Jeff just dropped the bomb on me. The Gods will continue. Will it be called Eric Moore's The Gods? Will it be just The Gods? How will it be going forward?
For right now, we're going to be called Eric Moore's Gods.
Okay.
It's a respect thing.
Oh, good. Yeah.
You know, because if it wasn't for him, there'd be a lot of musicians that never would have had a platform, you know?
Sure.
So the respect factor is Eric Moore's Gods, and that's the way it'll continue unless we, you know, have a change of heart later on down the road. But we've already started work on the next album.
Wow, that's outstanding. So I got to ask you one thing before I bring Charlie on.
Yeah.
There is another project, if I'm not mistaken, and that's Mark Chadfield's The God's Resurrection. How does that tie in to what you guys are doing? Who's got the rights to all of this? I got to ask the question.
Well, obviously Mark has his own thing going on.
Yeah.
Eric had said, and has actually got a piece of paper that was notarized and documented in a whole bit, that he wanted all the guys that were in the original two albums, which was Mark, Bob Hill, Glenn Cataline, who's passed away too.
Right.
And Eric wanted all of them to have their own version of the Gods, you know, to have the music live on. So, you know, all I can say about, you know, whatever Mark's doing is, you know, that's exactly what Eric wanted. So it can't hurt, you know, to have all those guys, which would just be Mark and Bob now,
right?
You know, to be out there, you know, paying homage to what went on and what has gone on, you know, and those things. But my thing is, though, I don't know how those guys are treated. We're not a tribute band status.
No,
we're actually driving the band forward. You know, the songs you started playing before you brought me on here. I've Seen the Devil. That, you know, that shows you right there that we're moving forward.
Yeah, I tell you, when I first, let me bring Charlie on, then I'll tell you what I was thinking when I first got this. And I will let to welcome Charlie Bonnet, the third CB3, I believe his friends call him.
There he is.
Charlie,
What's up, guys? Good to be here, man.
welcome to the show. I'm Tom Florio. Thank you for being part of the Hard Rock and Sports Show tonight, Charlie.
Tom, good to meet you, buddy. I think I'm late. I'm not Axl Rose late, but I'm late.
Well, if the man scientist I know is going to be on time because he lives in the basement. He's probably got 4 albums working right now. But you're doing the superstar rock star thing, so I don't expect you to be right on time. Casually late is fine. I think we hold on. No, we got him back. Sorry. But Charlie, welcome to the show. Tell us a little bit about how you hooked up. Now, Jeff gave us a little bit of the insight, but why did you want to get involved in this and the gods, and why does this mean so much to you to kind of push on with Eric's vision?
Well, I met John Gard probably 10 or 12 years ago. I was touring the Southeast and Midwest with a band called Moccasin Creek. It was like forgive me, world, for saying it, but it was like a poor man's rap rock thing, and I was the rock end of it.
Okay.
And John would come to our shows when we'd be in the Midwest, and he'd give me God shirts. And I was familiar with the band. I knew Steve Schufert from back in the Nashville days, the Steve Schufert band, mid-'90s.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was familiar with his era of the gods, probably Mongolians forward, but I didn't know about the early stuff. But John would give me these shirts. And, I'm on tour, so I got 3 shirts. It's got to last me a month. And so I'm wearing gods everywhere. Jeff knows about that. So everywhere I would go, people would go, bro, Machines. Hell yeah, Eric Moore, gods. I'm like, man, like this has got like some staying power behind it.
Yep.
So I did a Gods tribute album for FNA, a track for their tribute album in 2013.
Mm-hmm.
And then when John had contacted me about doing a guitar lead on an Eric Moore record called The Legion of the Damned, like a solo album. And so I did that. That's probably 2018. But I'd been in touch with him the whole time. And, he had even mentioned me coming to Ohio and joining up with him. But I lived in Tennessee. And here a couple of years ago, I married my wife, Holly, who's from Ohio. And it just worked out for me to jump fully on board now. So happy to be here.
Wow, terrific. Again, Hard Rock and Sports on the third. Oh, shit.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Testicle difficulties.
Yeah. We'll see how long it takes him to come back. Do.
Right. Little elevator music. It's time for me to break out the acoustic, be some background.
Oh, yeah,
Elevator.
no doubt. No doubt, man.
Hey, it says here, you're the one and only Jeff Westlake.
Actually, that's not true. I do know another Jeff Westlake.
Uh-oh, a charlatan is out there.
Yeah.
There's a charlatan.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. We reformatted.
Maybe he's having to reload. He says, hang on a minute.
All right. So this is because he laughed at my Axl Rose joke.
That was good. That was really good. Yeah.
Now he's punted from the arena.
Where are you playing tomorrow night?
I am playing Saturday night, actually. Acoustic gig.
Mm-hmm.
The dealership in Mount Victory, Ohio.
Okay, tell me where Mount Victory is.
Go to the last cow pasture and turn at the Big Red Barn. And it's Hardin County near, she said, north of Marysville near Kenton, Ohio. It's like an Amish town. Like they have Amish Uber drivers.
How the fuck does that work?
Bro, I ain't lying.
You paying cow patties or what?
They pay me really, really good there. Like really, really good. So I'm strumming the old acoustic from 8 till they kick me out, at least 11.
Nice.
8 to 11, sometimes 8 to midnight. If they're still partying, I'll hang out. But
right.
And tomorrow I'm taking some pictures. Black Star Amp sent me a new 212 speaker and a new little foot unit. And
really?
I'm gonna go try to look important on some film. Smile and look all rock and roll. Be like, put me in your catalog, dudes.
Tell him you got another buddy who'd like to have a black star. I've always liked those. I used to have a floor amp of those, and it was good for a floor amp. I mean, but
Right.
you could hear the growl in it, man.
It's not bad, man. It's Lauren Molinaire from the rock band Little Caesar is the artist rep out there.
Oh, really?
Super killer guitar player, dude. He's like, I think Lauren's like early 70s. He's like 70, 71 years old. This dude's got more energy, man. He will out rock a young dude all day long.
Nice.
He's on stage jumping and rocking out, dude. It's like his stage presence is really, really good.
Well, he's had 71 years to get it perfected.
He perfected it.
Yeah.
No, he perfected it. And that dude's been around the block, man. Like, he sent me photos of, like, he's in this band called the Dogs out of Detroit. He sent me photos. Like, they opened 3 shows for AC/DC. The first 3 shows that AC/DC ever played in North America at the Whiskey. Lauren was the opening band with the Dogs.
No kidding.
Yeah, dude. Like, he sent me photos of that. Like, it was, like,
I bet
amazing.
that place was packed, wasn't it?
Oh, bro. It was crazy.
Yeah. I saw the next to last show of Bon Scott's career.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. I'm jealous, dude. I'm jealous.
It was like, I think it was the second time I'd seen him. They've been in Huntington in 78 on the Power Rage tour, and then they went to Charleston, West Virginia for the Highway to Hell tour. And I went and saw them there.
Wow.
And then 3 months later, we got the news.
Wow.
Pretty terrible.
Man, that's crazy. I've actually never seen them live. That's like a huge party foul for a rocker, man. I love the band. I've just never seen the band live.
Well, it looks like we're going to have to reschedule. He said, "Sorry, I don't know what's going on. I'm dead. Not sure what the problem is. I sincerely apologize." And I just sent a message and said, "Let's just reschedule."
All right.
He'd asked me about Chatfield too.
Oh. You guys want to try for tomorrow?
I think he only does Thursday nights.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Holly, are you there?
Yeah.
She's in the background.
What's his schedule like next week?
I got a show next Thursday down at Holly Berry.
So what about the week after?
I think the week after we're good to do it. She's going to go run upstairs and check the calendar real quick. The month of November, I know I only got 5 shows. So
what?
Yeah, it's a slow month, man. It's really crazy. Like last month I did 12.
You would think in November and December shit would amp up.
I don't know. It amps up. December is a little better, but it's weird, man. It's like January is packed. You think January would be nothing.
Yeah.
So he asked you about Chatfield, huh?
Yeah, I want to know what was going on with that. You know, I told him, I said, "Hey, man, he's got his right to do his thing."
Sure.
You know, I said the difference between us and that though is we're not a tribute band.
That's right. She says I have Thanksgiving Thursday open and December 1st.
Thanks. Okay, what's today? The 3rd?
Today is the Doid. Yes.
So that would be what? Well, hell, he's not going to do a show on Thanksgiving, I bet. So you don't have the 3rd, the 10th, you don't have the 17th open?
She said I got a show that day.
Okay. All righty.
From 6 to 9.
Okay. Well, let me get off here and talk with him, and I'll get back with you.
Unless he wants to go later and I can just get done with my show and go live from the venue. We do have that technology.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, let me ask him and we'll figure it out, and I'll get back with you guys here in just a little bit.
All right, dude. Rock and roll, bro.
All right. Thanks, man.
See you, buddy.
All right, bud. Bye-bye.